Howdy. My name is Roger. I love my country, my truck, and Power Platform best practices. If you're serious about becoming a Power Platform solutions architect, join the Architects Accelerator. Now enough of my fake Southern accent, and let's hear from an actual participant of the program, Anna Black.
Hi, I'm Anna Black. I'm the creator of Power Platform Cookbook. I joined the Architects Accelerator because I saw a post from Magdalena and she was so positive and inspired me to join and see what it's all about. Before joining the accelerator, I was avoiding AI. And then when I saw how to apply AI and practice like soft skills, and it just like it really opened my mind to try different things for myself with different tools and everything. It really helps you to evaluate what you know and what you don't know, because when you are doing your job for like so many years, you might be missing a trick and like a different approach. So it really helped me to look at the problems from a different angle. And it was really great to meet with people and be like a part of another community and exchange ideas and so on. So yeah, lots of benefits that did change my life. So thank you.
The link is in the show notes, or go to untethered365.com to learn more.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Sprint Zero podcast. My name is Mike Gowland and I'm here with my co-partner rat in crime, John Russell. Say hello, John.
Hello, how are you? Are you alright?
I'm okay, John. I'm alright.
Just okay?
Just okay. Yeah, it's the end of the week now. It's coming up to the weekend and we actually have a date on Saturday, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, looking forward to it.
Yeah. While everyone else is up in Aberdeen, me and John are gonna go to Farnborough.
Yeah. Check out South Coast Summit for next year.
Yeah. Scout out the venue. So today, we've got a guest who's both at home in tech and in the football field. Born and raised in the scenic town of Trollhättan, Sweden, Shabana Khatau made the leap to London to pursue her education and has since settled into life in the UK. Shabana has an inspiring journey that stretches from tech to the football pitch. Not only is she a qualified level 1 football coach, she has even initiated a local girls football team to motivate and empower young athletes. Shabana currently works at Network Rail, where she is utilising a lot of the different parts of the Power Platform to meet the organisation's requirements. Welcome to the podcast, Shabana. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Nice. Yeah, welcome to the podcast, Shabana. Do you want to give us a little bit of insight into your background and how you got to work at Network Rail?
Okay, so I'm going to try and keep the story short, but long story short, I grew up in Sweden, and back in those days, I was brought up in a very strict cultural family where, for a girl, the only road to success was to get married and look after the family. And that's how I was raised. So having that dream and ambition of going into tech and having a career in tech was not very possible, but I still managed to convince my parents to let me go and study and do a degree in tech. However, that didn't last too long, and I was told to do what I'm supposed to do, get married, basically. So that's where my life kind of stopped, in that sense that I couldn't go forward with my tech ambition. And fast forward my life, 14 years. I have 4 kids, and I still have this burning sensation that I wanted to go back to tech. And that's when I thought, is it too late? Is it not? But then, with social media, you hear the stories coming out that, anyone and everyone can do anything what they want as long as they set their mind to it. So, yes, so that's where I kind of started my journey of shifting my mindset, breaking those taboos around women not being able to have a career, having a family. It's all possible. So that's where the journey started, with me retraining myself, everything from scratch again, because when I left tech, I was building servers and exchange servers and mailboxes physically. So there was a whole new world for me when I went back into tech.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that is a massive shift going from those days of standing up. Was this physical service, or are we talking virtual servers here?
Yeah, now physical server. There was barely anything to do with the virtual servers. Everything was done in-house. So, you're setting up the
Wow.
mailboxes for individual people.
And what are you doing? What are you doing at Network Rail now, Shabana?
So I'm a Power Platform developer where my main role is to develop SharePoint sites, Power Apps, and create Power Automation with Power Automate.
That's cool. I just going back to your coming back into tech. So when you left tech, you said you were literally standing up Exchange servers and whatnot, and then you've come back into this world of cloud first, platform as a service, software as a service, everything like that. How did you get yourself upskilled? What was your firstly, were you I'm trying to get the words out here. Were you intimidated by the level of learning you had to do to because of the scope of change, right? It's so drastic from like one to the other. Was there a massive like learning gap that you had to fill, and how did you do that? What was your strategy or motivation?
So yeah, it was huge. Like, it was challenging to kind of, where do I start? There's so many things that had changed, and which is the best way to kind of start off with. So my one of my passion was coding, and I really love to code. So then I thought, okay, what can I do? And at that time, I found this short introduction to HTML and CSS because, again, that had changed as well. So I started off with that. From there, I kind of got into Code Academy, and that's where everything changed, because Code Academy is like taking very small baby steps into the tech world, so it's not very like overwhelming. You kind of go gradually and upskill yourself the way you want to.
And so from there, you went through Code Academies. Was that a course that you qualified in, or was it just training lessons that just gave you the confidence to go and try other languages?
So
where did that go in? Did that then mold into Power Platform? How did that happen?
So I started, yes. But what happens is that once you join Code Academy, you can use you can choose your path. And I went for the full stack dev path and completed all the modules, and then you get like certification once you complete the assessment and things like that, and do labs, etc. So it was a very long program, but it was really good because it kind of upskilled me from the beginning to the kind of the end. So yeah, so that's where I went from starting off, and then moving on to like Power Platform. That was just because I had this understanding of code and how the software works, learning about SharePoint and Power App, and it was challenge, but it wasn't as tricky as like learning to code, So I was able to understand quite quickly.
I totally agree with that. I think having some, like, you don't have to be an expert at coding, but having some background in coding before you go into Power Apps and Power Automate is really beneficial.
Yeah,
like it helps to like hone your understanding of like Power Effects formula and how functions like for all and add columns, remove columns, and then with Power Automate, like using the apply to each, how that works, and like concurrency, everything like that. Like it really gives you like a really good head start into then understanding the platform, because although it's democratized JavaScript, it's built to be an Excel formula. You still have to have that fundamental understanding of like what you're doing with data types, how data types work, and things like that. And that I find that really like accelerates your journey into Power Platform.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, even with SharePoint, so when I want to extend the web parts, I have to go and go through the TypeScript, because that's where I can create those individual web parts. And had I not had that coding background, I wouldn't be able to do those kind of things in the SharePoint either.
Yeah. No, and again, depending on your level, you can then start to actually look at expanding the Power Platform with those pro code technologies. That there's been a bit of debate on LinkedIn. Very recently, I saw on Nathan Rose put out a video about when you should go pro code and when you should go low code, and there is that debate. Is like when do you do it and how do you do it, and like is it actually suitable to do it? And sometimes the answer is yes, but a lot of the times the answer is no. But when that answer is yes, it's a really good skill to have, because there isn't a lot of people in the space who will then go off and be able to do that pro code side of it as well. So it's really, it gives you a really good head start there.
Yeah. No.
So you've got a unique mix of skills. On one hand, you're customizing SharePoint and automating workflows, and on the other, you're coaching football. How do you manage to wear these two hats, and do you find any surprise connections between the two?
So football, unfortunately, like recently I had to, for the past few years I had to stop because of my health reasons. But to kind of understand the football coaching and tech, being in the tech world, there is a lot of similarities when you kind of look into both things. There is a lot of method. Oh my god, I can't get that word right now. There's a lot of methods that go into coaching football or learning the platform. So I feel like there is quite a lot of similarities in the theory part of it.
So can you share some of those theories? What have you found in the past?
So with coaching, I feel that there is you need to understand the techniques that you're using in order to achieve the result. And with the tech, it's the same thing, that you need to understand what you're trying to do in order to get that result that you're looking for. So it's got that mindset that they're both using the same mindset.
Like you mean growth mindset? Is that what you're kind of thinking about there?
Yeah, because as you're dealing with the individuals that are coming from different backgrounds, and in the company you're dealing again with the individuals who have got different options and requirements that they wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
So it's just those kind of similarities.
And when you're developing Power Apps and Power Automate at Network Rail, and obviously trying to improve and make things more efficient, is there a process that you've automated which has had a huge impact for a particular team at Network Rail, or could you think of something that you've implemented and you thought, yeah, that's been really good, that's going to save them a lot of time?
Yeah, so a couple of things that we do is that we're very heavily on not data driven, but there's a lot of updates that are happening regarding the application or any information that we need to kind of send it out to the users. And what happens is that our team has got a mailbox that all this information is pushed into, and then we have to kind of announce this to all the users. And there's wasn't a better way to kind of every day kind of give the users the right information. So what I did was I created a dedicated Power Automate mailbox. So the information that needed to be distributed to the users was then that information, those emails will go into Power Automate mailbox, and that will trigger the flow to identify where this information needs to go in which SharePoint site, and that meant that none of us had to go and physically go and put that information into SharePoint. The Power Automate would do that for us, so that saved a lot of time, because every day you have something that you need users to be informed about, and that was one way to keep everyone, informed and less work for my team.
And you said with that solution that the Power Automate flow determines where to send the information. How did you achieve that?
So
was that just by looking at subjects? Is there like
so
a predefined subject you used in the email to?
Yeah, and it was the predefined subject, and then what happens is that to kind of go to that specific area, I create a category in SharePoint, and that category was then, if there was a certain category that we needs to go, then all we had to do in a team is to click on that specific category in the SharePoint, and then it will know straight away which page it needs to go and update.
Okay, that's cool. So is there a bit of manual intervention there at that point, or is it all fully automated?
Yeah, so that was the only thing that we had to click on to let them know SharePoint, then the flow to go to the right site. But that was automated by the notification.
Okay, cool. And have you looked at generative AI and how that could not necessarily improve, but add that into that sort of solution, like that categorization of data?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment we're in a very early stages of AI within Network Rail. I feel like there is a lot to be done. At the moment we're still testing out, for example, the M365 Copilot. So we haven't gone to the next stage at the moment. So yeah, I mean, I think once we kind of embrace the whole AI and the generative AI, it will make things a lot more smoother. I personally feel that it's gonna make everyone's life that little bit easier.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think sometimes it's all about having a good foundation as well with your data. And I think my next question might start talking about foundations and whatnot. So, building a girls' football team was all about creating something from scratch. What are some key lessons that coaching and this that you've been able to take and apply to when you're tailoring your solutions to meet the organisation, which is obviously Network Rail in this instance?
So for me, it was, I think one of the biggest things that I learned was the transferable skills in tech as well, is that the end goal with the football coaching is for the girls to play football in a tournament or learn how to play as a team. But it was about, how do we get there? What are the steps we're going to take to get there? To understand what everyone's capabilities are, and then using that to achieve that final stage. And I feel that tech is exactly the same. We all want this fancy application to do all these things, but it's about understanding that, okay, we might not have all of these things, but how do we get there that it's one solution that fits all, kind of thing. And it's taking those steps to identify that, okay, if we do this, is that going to work? If not, go back to drawing board and try and figure it. And then it's exactly with the coaching. You find a way to coach the girls, and it might work, it might not work. If it doesn't work, you have to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what can it work? So those kind of very similarities was there in the coaching world and in the tech world as well.
And when you go back to the drawing board and you think about what can we do and how do we do this, do you include your end users in that as well, in those sorts of discussions to find out what the answer is?
Yeah, so it's very, I think it's when you're creating a solution, it's very important to have a two-way communications because you want the users to understand where there is restrictions or how we can go forward. So it is because you're going to come from the technical aspect and they're going to be coming from the end user aspect. So it's you kind of have to find that middle ground by talking to each other.
Absolutely.
So, Shabana, I don't know if you listen to the podcast at all, but we have a section called Uncomfortable Corner. So, when was the last time you felt uncomfortable at work or out of work? And explain how you felt and how you managed to get through it and what you learned about yourself in the process.
Hey, this is one which I have never spoken about.
Being on the Sprint Zero podcast.
No, this is something I don't think I ever spoken about it in public. But one of the things that when I started looking into building a football team for girls or encouraging sports for girls, it was I had to get the qualifications and I had to go for my FA Level 1 football coach. I had no idea that what I'm getting into. And when I started the course, I realized that the people had come for the course, they've been playing football professionally, not professionally in that sense, but like as their hobby, they lived and ate football. That's how passionate they were. And I was there, mom with 4 kids. No, at that time I had 3 kids, but 3 kids who'd never played football. Like all I did was like a little bit of football here and there, and then only played football with my boys. That's the highest level I had ever gone to. And I walk in and they are doing KPRPs and all these skills that I had no idea how to do it. So yeah, that was so embarrassing because I just wanted to learn and I wanted to learn and get the right qualification so I could pass that on to the young girls. But the whole time when I was doing the course, I've never felt so embarrassed and so out of place in my life as I felt in that football course because I was just surrounded. There was no one like I could say that, oh yeah, there's another person who is okay with football. Everyone knew how to play football. And I was the only one who only played with the kids. And that's it. That was the furthest I'd gone. So to me, that was, I wanted to cry in one corner, never go to the course again. And there were moments where I thought, what am I doing? Like, let's just stop, let's not do this. Let's not go back again. It was, it was one of those moments where I cringe when I think back.
Do you think, in hindsight now, do you think there was any element of an advantage that you didn't know or didn't know how to play football as much as the others? Or do you think it would have helped? The reason why I ask that question is because sometimes, especially say in consultancy, when you are, say, defining requirements, if the client knows the technology, sometimes that can be a hindrance because they get locked into the technology that they think is going to solve the problem. And I'm just wondering if you had a more rounded kind of holistic view because you didn't know football.
Yeah, I mean, when I look back, I think that what my advantage was, as at that time I was feeling very overwhelmed, but when I now reflect back, I feel like the theory, the understanding that individuals that come and play football, I was learning that and I was understanding that rather than, you know, the people who already knew football, they're like, why can't you get it? Like it's so simple, you could just need to do this, this, this. For me, it wasn't like that. I was able to be more um, understanding and have that empathy that, okay, if you can't do it, let's go for this. Let's go there. It wasn't like,
No.
oh, naturally it's going to come.
So I think what you're trying to say is it's like a deeper connection through
Yeah.
coaching. It's not just about football. It's, okay. That's really interesting.
Yeah, no, it's like you have a more closer bonding, so to speak, because you feel very differently and about the coaching and the things you've learned. You've kind of taken everything on board because you don't know. You're like trying to grasp everything and make sure that you're doing it the right way.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I don't think we've actually had a football coach on the podcast before.
No, definitely not.
No.
No.
And it's quite interesting because I don't really like football, but I like how you're explaining the coaching side of it. I mean, obviously, having a bit of a passion for football to be a football coach would probably be beneficial, but it's the theory behind it and getting those deeper connections is what it's all about, I think.
And I think what I quite liked is the you sort of like set the objective of coaching, and it's not to win, it's to get the girls to play football in a tournament.
Yeah, and enjoy, having
And it's
that.
like and enjoy it, and get them included and doing it. Like that's, I just love that as like an objective around coaching, and it becomes less about the competition and more about the enjoyment and the enrichment taking part and doing the sport that brings, and it then that then doesn't like set you up to exclude those who aren't as, say if somebody's not as skilled as another person in the team. It's inclusive of everyone. Just go and play. I love it.
That's it. That's
nice.
it. And I think that's sorry. No, I was just going to say that's like when I look back, I'm thinking, oh, I should have with the coaching, I was more concentrated that I don't know to play football rather than enjoy the fact that I'm learning and I'm having fun learning football to coach. But yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Shabana, for being on the podcast today. We really appreciate it. There's, I believe we've got your LinkedIn profile, so we'll share that on the show notes, and any other links that we've talked about in the episode will also be there too. Music today was provided by Ken Light Fit, apart from Uncomfortable Corner, which is the dulcet tones of myself and my best friend Crabman here. You can find Ken Light Fit's music on Spotify, the link to which you can find in the episode show notes. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't get to miss the next episode. We'd also really appreciate it if you give us a follow on LinkedIn, and if you're enjoying the podcast, please give us a review on your chosen podcast platform. Thank you very much. This has been Sprint Zero, and we've been Mike Gowland. Say goodbye, Mike.
I was on mute. Goodbye, Mike.
Shabana Khatau. Say goodbye to Shabana.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
And I'm John, and we will see you on the next episode. Thank you very much.
Bye for now.
See ya.
Love you, John.
Bye.
Hey, how you doing? Have you heard about the Architects Accelerator course? If not, you definitely should check it out. Let me tell you some more about it. So the Architects Accelerator course is a course that's run by Sean Astrahan. He's based in the US. He's a lovely fella, really. And yeah, it's basically bridging that gap for solution architects and wannabe solution architects who maybe need to have a bit more of some advanced topics to talk about and advanced things to look into. One of the best bits about the course is how much effort Sean and his team have put into creating a community of vibe around it. He's got lots of integrations working, and you can work out when the next sessions are, have a look at people's intros, discuss technical topics and help out. It's a really, really good community. I'm John Russell from the Sprint Zero podcast, and just wanted to say thank you to Sean and for his continued sponsorship. If you want to find out more about the Accelerator course, please have a look at the link in the episode description.